Welcome to the Florence Foodies podcast, a place for the community to gather and share the stories, voices, and experiences that make Florence feel like home. To support this podcast and the Florence Foodies platform as a whole, click the Support This Podcast link found in the description.
So why don't we start off and let y'all introduce yourselves? I guess we'll start with Rose.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rose Yeagley. I am the secretary of the Booster Club, the Claw Collective. I'm from Pittsburgh area in Pennsylvania, but I've been in Florence for about 12 and a half years. I came here for graduate school and just never left. So now I'm here and probably be here forever.
What was graduate school for?
I went for my master's in psychology.
Okay. Steelers fan?
I am, yeah.
I think you're the second Steelers fan I've had in a few weeks.
Well, here we go. So
Yeah. Same fate we had. We got booted in the first round, and I'm a Eagles fan, so.
Sorry.
Don't feel bad.
Okay.
All right.
I'm Eric Powell. I'm the president of the Claw Collective Booster Club. Been here basically my whole life. Grew up here, except for a few years I went and did industrial construction, the whole running the road type deal, traveled all over the country, got to see a lot of different things. Came back home to settle down, of course. Now I'm married got a twin boy and girl. Work in Darlington over at Nucor, so that's kind of, allowed me to build a strong base and stuff for my family and everything like that. So
I did
that's
see
how I
that you
ended
got
up.
twins. I've got a sixth on the way, so we got our hands full. But
Oh, yeah.
with that being said, though, I can't really imagine twins because I mean two at the same time.
Yeah, and the thing I tell a lot of people about it is it sounds crazy to people that have had singles, I guess, but I guess when all we've had is twins, so that's kind of all we know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can see it's definitely good when you have a good support system around that. 'Cause
Absolutely, yeah.
when you got everybody kind of pairs off and that kind of deal or whatever, but it's not like we have one you can kind of swap in and out.
mean, at the
For
end of the day-
rest and things like that.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you know well about that if you got a sixth one on the way.
Yeah, I was just gonna say at the end of the day, you got to make it work. So I mean, you just figure it out.
Mhm.
So another question I got for you is, and you said it coming in, said people will know me by the hat. It's true because that's how I recognized who you were at first. But I am an Eagles fan, and people that don't know the Eagles culture might not know this, but we got like a mascot. He's this guy named Gilly. He's from Philadelphia. He's like an old ghostwriter for rappers and stuff. Anyways, he's very outspoken Eagles fan. And he's had a whole beef going with Cam Newton for a long time. Most people might not even care about that. They're listening to this, but it is true just to orient you to who he is. And he always wears these the big hats.
That's where I got that idea from,
It
actually.
is.
From seeing some of his videos and stuff going on, different things. That's
Yeah.
kind of where I saw it. So I went on the website and was messing around, and I saw that you could get a custom one made. So back whenever the team was first developing and all those different things, I got with Phil, and we kind of came up with the idea or whatever, and I got permission to use the logo and everything from the team, and I was like, I want to get one made just to kind of have something different. And I even wore it around before the team even got started as kind of like a little marketing piece or advertisement style piece. And people have loved it, especially like little kids or whatever. You walk around and get little kids wanting to take pictures just because of the big hat and different things. So anything that can kind of, spread the word or bring attention, I'm all for.
No, I can dig it. So it came from the site that he's always promoting.
From Noggin
'Cause
Boss.
I was going to ask you
Yep.
that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Little connection. Steelers don't have a big hat guy.
I like
saying.
my regular hat, so I'm cool with that.
They just have big heads, not big hats.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, expert.
So, all right. Well, so we're not here to talk about football, though. So we're here to talk about hockey, obviously. So I thought it would be good, and I kind of was, having my research with the two of you, and you were sharing your background with hockey. So why don't we get into that? We'll start with you again.
Okay.
And just your background to the sport.
Yeah. So growing up in Pittsburgh, let's go Pens. Kind of grow up with hockey, grew up ice skating and also rollerblading. And so like kids would play in the neighborhood, like roller hockey. And then my brother actually started playing for our high school. He played inline hockey. My dad somehow ended up becoming his coach, which was like not necessarily great. But then, so I was just, I was Eric's sister, I was the coach's daughter. And then there was just me like rollerblading around. And um, so then eventually my dad actually got season tickets for the Pens somewhere, I think around like 2005-ish. So then like that was when we got Crosby and Malkin. And so it was like everybody was excited. And then we went to the finals in 2008. We won in 2009. So there was just a lot of excitement around hockey. And my brother actually passed away when I was 16. And so that was just one of the ways that I still feel connected to him. And so, I'm really excited that hockey's here because I love hockey. I grew up with it. Now I don't have to drive 2 hours to Raleigh or to Pittsburgh to watch a game. And so, yeah, I'm really happy.
Mine's not necessarily a big NHL background, being from here and all those things. Mine's probably maybe preteen age or whatever, when the whole Mighty Ducks era started and all that kind of stuff, and them and Florida Panthers, which I'm a fan of, kind of all started right there together. And of course, all my friends were Mighty Ducks this and Mighty Ducks that. So of course, I got to go the opposite way and became a Panthers fan. And I'm a goalie guy. I always just gravitate toward goalies for whatever reason. And I think it kind of started with Florida got John Van Beesbrook from the Rangers when they started up, and he had that kind of like full Panther face mask, and it just always kind of stuck out to me, and that's part of what drew me to them. So being a fan of them, and then we finally got hockey here around that's close to that same time. Enjoyed going to those games with family and friends and things like that, and I'm just glad it's back. So now I can kind of take my kids and kind of do those same things with them and kind of grow them into it like I was when I was a kid.
Yeah. So my background too, just people might be wondering, we're doing the show and stuff too. I do have a hockey background of interest, and so it was like the probably mid 90s. I was always a football fan. I just like sports in general, but hockey was actually my number 2 sport for a little stretch of probably like 5 years. And to orient you on the timeline, it was like during the Sergei Fedorov time period. Dominic Hasek was a player that I liked a lot. Eric Lindros, of course, Flyers, and Peter Forsberg, that time period. Even Gretzky, like right there on probably the tail end of his career. What probably started that is when I got the Nintendo 64 for Christmas, which was awesome. I had Wayne Gretzky hockey, and that game you could cross check people and they do a backflip if you did it just right. And I got really good at I'd swing around behind the net and pop it in, and that's probably what started a lot of that. But I used to watch a lot of hockey in the 90s, and then like around the 2000s, for whatever reason, I just kind of fell off with it. But we, also having the pride here at home, we would go to games. And so I randomly made a video last year stating that it'd be awesome if we had hockey back in Florence. And that particular video, I was talking about that and Publix. Neither one of those two things have been announced yet. And unbeknownst to me, now obviously the Publix rumors were heavy, so that was a little bit different. But to my knowledge, when I was sitting there recording that video, there was I didn't even know about the Facebook group, the Bring Hockey Back group. I didn't even know about it, Michael's group. And so I was just kind of shooting in the dark because in my mind at home, I was like, man, that would be awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be a really good idea. So I make the video, and then like 24 hours later, the video was doing really well. And I get a call from San Diego, and I don't remember who it was. I forgot which guy it was that called me, but somebody involved with ownership. And it was almost like a gag order phone call. It was almost like, I don't know what you know, but don't say anything. But I didn't know anything. So I was like, so he starts filling me in on what was going on behind the scenes. And I mean, it was like a month later, the announcement was made. And I didn't say anything after that. For the record, if you're watching, whoever you were that called me, I didn't say a word to anybody once you called me. But so I was really excited. And now once the team has come, obviously going to the games and all the excitement that's happened has definitely pulled me back into the point where I have been watching some NHL hockey again a little bit this season, Flyers games. And I'm just messing with you because I know the Pennsylvania thing is yeah. I understand what's going on. So, but yeah, so it's good. It's exciting. And also we too would play rollerblade hockey a lot. So I had my little Bauer helmet. We had a little green street ball that we would play rollerblade hockey with. And I told the story on a previous episode that I was at the time, I mean, mind you, this is like almost 30 years ago, but I was pretty comfortable and competent on a pair of rollerblades. I wasn't probably going into the X Games anytime soon, but I could move how I wanted to move. I had control. I had never ice skated. So I assumed that ice skating would not be much different. And so I put the rentals on last month. And it was not the same. I couldn't, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, I got some learning to do on that. But
It's also different 30 years later. So
yeah, well, then a couple of guys that play that I've known since high school were out there also skating, and they were very polite and respectful. Joey, I appreciate y'all being that way. But I know on the low they were laughing at me trying to make my way around. But they told me, they said, if on those rentals, dude, they were like, if you can skate on those, you can skate on anything. So that made me feel a little bit better.
yeah.
But what I'm thinking about doing really for my kids, and then I'll probably participate with them. I won't go as hard as they will for obvious reasons, but I think that we live on a cul-de-sac. So I think what I'm gonna do, because the last game that we went to, my younger son of the two older boys was like, they play basketball, but he was like, I would play hockey. He's like, that would be fun. So I think I'm gonna get them some rollerblades, get a couple nets, and then I got a bunch of kids in my neighborhood that play together at their parents' own acceptance. They can come play roller hockey in our cul-de-sac. So we're thinking about doing that when the spring starts.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of kids, especially I guess with hockey and everything being back, getting the kind of street hockey sets and stuff for Christmas and things like that, and then I think the name of the company is skipping my mind, but there's some friends of ours that they do youth hockey stuff in Columbia, and they bring a big inflatable kind of setup and all kind of stuff and set up at a lot of the games, and I think that's kind of helped kind of push the kids to kind of get involved in some of that stuff too.
Yeah. It's exciting, and we'll kind of dabble a little bit in that idea that there's a lot of residual effects of this team being in Florence that I think people don't realize. You're talking about it's cultural development. There's an expansion in our local culture because of it in areas you might not think about. So we are here to discuss a very specific subject, which I think is a very important subject. So I'm glad that we're sitting here doing it. And so Eric, you started what's a booster club, but it's the Claw Collective. So I'm just going to open the floor. We'll start with you. I just want you to share everything that you want to share about what it is and how it works.
Basically, I guess kind of a little bit of background to it. I'm actually the one that got picked or won the name the team contest back in the beginning or whatever.
Well, you beat me out, just for the record.
So that kind of allowed me to, I guess, build a relationship with some of the front office people and things like that, like Phil and some of the other guys, Nick and them. And I guess so it kind of gave me a little insight as to some of the behind the scenes stuff. And I would get involved with when they would bring players in to kind of look around. I would take them and show them around the city and different things and show them where, different things were and things that they might look for or whatever. And kind of seeing what the teams provided for them and how they were taken care of and things like that. And so that kind of gave me the insight to how to fill in those blanks, I guess. So that's what we formed to do, is to kind of fill those gaps for the needs for the players, whether it be like their housings, all their equipment, and all that kind of stuff is, covered by the team. And we kind of step in and kind of help with all that day-to-day stuff, all the consumables, things like that, the general needs. We take care of stocking the bus, which I'm going to do once I leave here. I got to go run by and grab some stuff for their road trip to Athens for this weekend. So we keep the bus stocked for them when there are any road games, so they don't have to worry about stopping by gas stations and dumping a bunch of money in random stuff at gas stations. So we supply all those type of things, things they need for their apartments that people don't really think about. Like some of them have wives or girlfriends that came with them. So we kind of help them with extra things, whether it be furniture or just pots and pans, just general stuff for their apartment that we want them to be to the point where all they have to worry about is on ice stuff.
So I just want to interject. So I
Yeah,
want you
yeah.
to, if you can, just expound on something on that note, because like I said, this is a good opportunity for us to give people a peek behind the curtain. So we've now got thousands of people showing up to the Florence Center, watching the games on YouTube, which is awesome, and they're really enjoying it. And they've got their favorite players. Obviously, the Twins are very popular. Trevor Lord, Houston Wilson, and now we've got Ledkoff is quickly ascending as a very popular name in Florence, and so on and so on. But what I think people might not realize or consider is the stories of these guys. This is the Fed League. These guys came from other places and they're coming into a new town and just plugging in. There's a lot of practical things that come along with that. So there is housing, there is, transportation and, finding your way around. There's all these little things, especially if you have families. So how much could you just shed some light on, the experience of what it's like for these players coming into town?
Yeah, like I said, you got a lot of guys that come from other countries, they're all different kinds of backgrounds and things like that. Like we've had some guys show up with a backpack and some equipment, and that's what they come here with. And we kind of step in and make sure, hey, I normally try to get in touch with them as soon as they get here or whatever, introduce myself and say, hey, this is who I am, this is who I'm with the Claw Collective. Anything you need to get set up, let us know or whatever. And we try to keep updated lists for each guy's, whether what their wants are, their needs are, whatever, and kind of I keep an online Amazon list that we keep for our group, and I've even posted in some of the other pages like IceCats Nation and different things, because you don't necessarily have to be a member of the Claw Collective to help out in any way. We encourage anybody that wants to buy a little pack of energy drinks or whatever for the guys, or some liquid IV or whatever. Hey, everything is welcome, and I promise you, these guys appreciate every little thing they get. Um, so we have guys like that, and then we have, there's some guys come with cars, some guys don't. I think they have maybe 4 or 5 cars that they kind of share back and forth to go different places and do different things. Um, we have some people that have helped out with giving them rides different places, or even simple things like taking them to the doctor or whatever. Um, we have certain guys on the team that we use as point of contact. They call us, hey, we're down bad. We need toilet paper. We need whatever the case may be. Something just as simple as that. We have somebody jump on it and make sure those guys get that stuff. Because like I said, our main thing is we want those guys to focus on, on their own ice stuff, not have to worry about the stresses of what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
What am I going to do with that? Whatever. Because they are here, you know, and a lot of these guys have a dream. Hey, they want to move up. Hey, they want to get better. They're trying to hone their craft, and it's harder for them to do that if they've got to worry about all
They can just focus on
yeah,
hockey.
they got to worry about all the outside stuff. So we try to
Yeah.
kind of alleviate that and help them, as well as from the team aspect of it. We want to be a recruiting tool for them. So a lot of these guys that are here, they played with each other on different teams. They move around a lot. They played together off and on through different franchises, different teams. They all talk to each other. So we use that as a recruiting tool, and we've heard, in our town hall meeting that we had with the owners and stuff the other day, hey, we get calls all the time. Guys want to come here because they've heard how good you help take care of players, or how good guys have it here and things like that. So we want to just help build the team through it that way, because they can use us as a recruiting tool.
Yeah, that's a great point. That was something I was thinking about. That another one of those things people might not really realize,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, word gets around,
Oh, yeah.
and especially with a league like this, everything's not cut from the same cloth.
Mhm.
Every city's not cut from the same
Right.
cloth, and obviously, I'm very biased to our city. I hope y'all
Oh,
are
yeah.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, but then the actual support of, in this case, the fan base, the team itself. I mean, I imagine there's probably an equipment element to
Oh,
it. There's so that word gets around. That's gonna, influence where guys want to go play, and that's good for us. If getting in the win column matters to you, that stuff directly correlates.
Yeah, any kind of tool you can be to help with, like I said, with not really like recruiting like you think of in football, but that like I said, that word of mouth and those guys talking to guys that they've played with for years in different areas and things like that. They want, and like I said, you got some teams in the league that play in front of maybe 800 people a night, and then you've got teams that play in front of maybe close to 6,000 a night. So, some of that plays into it too. So that's where, kind of building that fan base and things like that, all that helps.
Absolutely.
As far as,
And
because
that's
people
professional sports.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These athletes they do the same thing at the NFL level or
Oh, yeah.
NHL level. People would, based on a certain city, like, I don't know if I want to go play over there. And once they become free agents, they have that choice. I mean, that
Oh, yeah.
impacts where people go, bigger markets. It depends on what they're into. Some people might not want that. And this is something that, so we're doing the Florence Foodies sports broadcast every week now. And we've been talking obviously a lot about the hockey team. And it's kind of been a focal point, at least to start off, because of the timing. And this is something I've been talking about a lot because all this stuff that we're talking about is perception. Perception is 90% of reality. And so you've got all these different players out there, these high quality players, whatever, that are, that are accessing this league that we're competing in. And all of these little dynamics matter. But what I'm amazed by is how quickly the ascension of this team is in the league. And, the last show that we dropped this week, just 2 weeks in a row that I've had this happen. Last week I had an Athens fan make some comments that really stood out to me in this vein. But then this week I had 2 Binghamton fans that saw the show because I guess it popped up in their algorithm.
Yeah.
And both of them, you can go look at it. They were like, man, we just got so much respect for y'all's team. But I'm saying, like, it's not just bias, because I'm going to just try to tell it like it is. That's just me. I mean, I know there's a angle to some of this stuff, but I can honestly sit there every week and say what I've been saying. Like, this team is ascending rapidly. Word gets around. So, man, I mean, the sky is like the limit. There's no telling, even really this year, because I don't think we've hit a trade deadline yet. We still got, I think if I remember correctly, we got a little ways before that even comes.
Yeah, I want to say it's in March.
It's in March, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no telling what could even happen this year, honestly. I had one Athens fan that made a comment, and he was like negative on that. Like, man, slow down. Basically saying y'all getting too big for your britches too quick. I don't know, bro. Like, we're moving up quickly. So, and all of this stuff ties into it, though. It's all holistic.
And I'm gonna throw this out there since you brought up the Athens fan base.
Go ahead.
And here, me and my buddy Mike, that runs one of the other pages,
Mhm.
that you were talking about, and I explained it to him this way. I said, think about it. Where is Athens? The Athens Rock Lobsters. Where do they play at? In Athens, Georgia. Who else is located in Athens, Georgia?
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, you think about any Georgia Bulldog fans,
I know. I lived in Augusta for a while.
And then, so you kind of get all those Rock Lobster fans are Bulldog fans.
Yeah.
That's where you get that.
Enough said, probably.
Yeah,
if
where
you know, you know.
That's right.
But I got a lot of friends that are Georgia fans, and they get a pass. That's about it. But yeah, exactly. So either way, but it's fun though, man. I mean, immediately we've got a rival, and so this weekend it's going to be very interesting. But I mean, get more and more competitive with them. This newest edition, we'll see how that plays out. But we're getting off a little bit of what was going to be next. And Rose, I guess I'll ask you this. So we've talked about what the Booster Club is. It obviously serves immediately the needs of the players that are coming in and giving it everything they've got for our team. That's a good thing. Then there's a bigger picture in terms of perception of the team, and word gets around, and that helps recruitment and that kind of thing. But the question is, how do you get involved? How do you participate? How do you give if you want to contribute?
Yeah. So, like Eric said earlier, you don't have to be a part of the Booster Club to help. But if you would like to join our Booster Club, we would love to have you. Right now, we are using Google Form. And we're gonna make a post in some of the there's a bunch of different Facebook groups. So there's IceCats Nation, IceCats Central, which used to be Bring Hockey Back to Florence, and then there's another fan page, and then the actual team page, and then the Claw Collective. We have our like a member exclusive group as well. And I know I'm going off track here for a second, but part of what we're trying to do is help spread awareness to the community and like try to get more fans and everything. But so anyway, we're going to be making a post with the Google form so that you can go on, and what's your name and address, phone number, how do we contact you, and then give us some information about how you're willing to help or interested in helping. We have 6 different committees, and on the form there's a little like blurb about each committee, and what they're going to be helping with, so people can indicate on that form if you're interested in helping with any of them, all of them, or none of them.
So can you talk a little bit about that real quick? Like
Yeah.
what are some examples of those committees?
Yeah. So Eric is the committee chair of the team liaison committee, because he already has that relationship with the players and the team and everything. So that committee is really focused on all the things that he was kind of already talking about. Then we have our game day committee, which has been kind of, I want to say, almost the most active, maybe besides the team liaison committee. So the game day committee is in charge of running all the stuff that's happening at the games. So fundraisers, raffles, and like we've done the Christmas card activity, and we're doing a Valentine's Day activity as well coming up, and just different things like that happen at the games, to get the crowd involved and to help raise money so that we can do the stuff that we need to do. There's also a fundraising committee, and then there's a community outreach committee. And so we kind of got started later in the season than the team did, so we haven't been able to do a lot of that stuff yet, but there's all kinds of different events throughout the community, like parades and all kinds of stuff that we hope to, like the Pecan Festival or pecan, however you say it.
Pecan.
Yeah, I don't really have a way to say that. But we're hoping to get out into the community that way, and also like we have marketing and media committee, and there's a lot of overlap between the committees. So, with the community outreach and marketing and media and trying to get awareness out, but also we want to do some like hockey 101 and hockey etiquette. So, because we know there's a lot of people here who don't know maybe anything or much about hockey, and we want to help them understand it so that it's more enjoyable for them to go to the games.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? Oh, membership. We have a membership committee.
Well, he mentioned the Amazon list too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a way that
we have an Amazon list that I try to post it periodically on like some of the IceCats Nations and IceCats Central and different ones. And I update it every time I receive a list from the players or from the team of needs and things like that. I'll go on there and add stuff, and it drops off as you order it, so you don't have to worry about, oh, we're going to end up with a whole bunch of extra stuff or things like that. So I try to post that periodically, and like I said, that's not something that's just through us. That's so anybody that wants to help or reach out can do that.
Yeah. And so what I'll do is I'll get with y'all, and all of the relative links for any of this we'll put down in the description and down in the show notes, so you can just click on them and go ahead and browse or go ahead and contribute if you want to. All that'll be down below. So one thing that you said I'll touch on real quick, and then we can move on, is the hockey knowledge. I know that's something that's been talked about a good bit, particularly like the rules and then the officiating. And there's probably a few different layers to all this, because you got officiating is different from league to league. So like NHL officiating is not going to be the same all the way down the line throughout the leagues. There's that element. But then there's just general knowledge. Totally. Like you said, I mean, this is football country. It's the South. The SEC for a long time, speaking of Georgia, dominated college football. Not anymore. The sport has changed. But so there are a lot of people that aren't oriented to hockey. Obviously, in Florence, you've got all these legacy fans from the Pride. So a lot of people are familiar from that standpoint. We watched hockey at different points in our lives professionally as entertainment, like other sports. A lot of people didn't do that. So that helps somebody like me be oriented a little bit to the sport. But yeah, anyways, I'm rambling. The point is, people don't necessarily know. What I say is this is just a chance for me to plug what I was trying to get at. Sorry for going around the long way. Just go to the game. Like you don't have to know anything about hockey, because the way that the sport is, the way that the atmosphere is set up, and especially what's going on at our arena, which just keeps on improving, you're going to be entertained. You don't have to understand. You understand what a goal is. Like everybody knows that. And believe it or not, you'll be able to follow the puck. I would suggest you might want to sit up higher. It's a little bit different than some things. Like I like to sit right down. I like to sit right down behind the bench. That's where I like to be, just because I enjoy being there. But the last few games, I've moved up because of some of the things I really need to see more in detail. So if you want to see what's going on, you sit up in the next level, and you will be able to follow the puck a lot better than you might think, and you're going to have a good time. And then as you start to get acclimated to the sport, like to the game, you start to enjoy it. That's the most important thing. And I mean, with all the tools that different people surrounding the team, involved with the team, are putting out there, you could pick up on the rules. I would say hockey, at least from like a rule standpoint, it's not that complicated of a sport. It's really not.
Yeah, it's not like football where you have 50,000 different penalties and different things coming from all different directions or whatever. You have, I would say maybe 8 to 10 at most that you kind of see. As far as like penalties and things like that, it's not near as in depth as some of your other sports.
It's not as technical. Like, because I was thinking about with my wife, like she's the last couple of years graciously just trying to, get more familiar with football because I watch a good bit of it. And so she'll ask questions, and some of it she doesn't understand. Some of it, like in the moment, like I'm watching an Eagles game or maybe a Gamecocks game, and I'm watching the game, like I'm in it, and then considering the fact it's not that easy to explain what just happened. Like it's like, well, he got 1 foot in. Well, did his knee touch? No, his knee. If his knee would have touched, then it would have. It's like, and then he was bobbling it. Like it's just way too much minutia. And so hockey's, I would say, not really like that. There's definitely a lot when you get into the aesthetics of the game itself and how it's being played with any sport, but from a rule standpoint, it's not that bad. So it's good that there's a few of these things going on. It's going to help a lot of people out, I think, easily.
I was just going to say something that would help with that once they get the full video board in. They're going to have some of those kind of things that kind of flash up and down or scroll across or whatever. So that will kind of help some with
That'd be huge.
with some of the understanding or whatever. Once they get it, I'm gonna get with them and try to figure out what their plans are as far as how they share information. To kind of see, I would like to see if there was some way, like if they call a slashing penalty, they could flash up on the screen, hey, this is what slashing is or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of, that way then the person could put that definition with the visual to kind of help it make it click or whatever.
And what I was going to say kind of builds off of that, because in a way, like it's not as, did they have 5 fingers on the ball or whatever as football, but then it's a little bit more subjective sometimes. And I think, I'm not going to say anything bad about officiating.
I don't want to write a letter.
Yeah, or make a donation. But I think that's some of the frustration that fans have been expressing so far is with officiating. And it is, I would say, a little more subjective, like, was that really a high stick, or what's the intention? So I'm not going to get into all that, but that is one of the, I think, differences that people are like trying to acclimate to, is like, how do I understand what the penalty is if it doesn't get called consistently? So
that's just a good point.
Just like we talk about our leagues, a developmental league and things like that, same thing applies to the rest. Those guys are basically in their form of a developmental league too. So
you gotta give them some grace.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, I'm also a boxing fan. I've been a boxing fan for a very long time, and there's some fights where a fighter would go into and say, I'm gonna have to get a knockout tonight if I'm coming out with a W. I'm not leaving it in the judge's hands. So we go put up 6 goals. And and Parker Rutherford's a brick wall in the net, then it doesn't really matter what the refs do at that point. We're just gonna go out there and win, and the team's looking pretty good. So that can kind of take some of that out of play, because granted, we take it for granted with the refs are just supposed to know what they're doing. Like you said, they're working their way up too. So I mean, it's not like they're gonna be perfect. So good points. So before we tail this off and move over to our last segment, is there anything else that y'all want to cover about the Claw Collective? Anything that you feel like this is a good time that the audience would know about the Booster Club and how they can get involved? Anything like that we didn't cover?
Yeah. So one thing that we didn't cover yet, I mentioned the Google form. So we do need your information. There are also membership dues, and for this season, we set the dues at $100 for the season. Um, this is our first year. Obviously, this is the first year of the team. It's the first year of the Booster Club, so we're trying to figure everything out, and we wanted to give ourselves a good foundation to get started with. So that's the dues for this season, and then we are going to reevaluate for following seasons. But so there's the Google form, give us your information and pay your dues. We also have bylaws that we're going to every member is going to be asked to sign that you agree and agree to comply with the bylaws. And then you get some of the benefits of the Booster Club. You get stickers. I meant to bring them with me and I forgot, but we Eric made some custom stickers with the Claw Collective logo, and then the other one, it says founder.
Yeah, it's like kind of like I guess a founder's edition. I wanted to make something that was unique for this year.
Yeah.
And kind of came up with a founder's logo design that's specific for this year, and then I'll try to come up with something unique for each year, just to kind of make it special. And we did order some stuff. I don't know if we want to keep it secret or not, or we're gonna hand it out at our next whenever we have our next meeting. But we did order a little something extra to go along with that, as well as we're gonna have some member member exclusive merch that's going to come out that you can get, as well as we're working on a Claw Collective jersey that members will be able to get as well, as just kind of have as I guess as kind of a collectible, or you're more than welcome to wear them to games or whatever. Because I got that idea because I like, as you could tell by my head, I like kind of unique stuff and exclusive things or whatever, just kind of stuff that kind of stands out and then lets everybody know, hey, you support the team and things like that. And if I didn't say it before, I do want to reiterate that these guys appreciate everything. Even down to the little small things, everything. These guys really appreciate everything that they get. So don't think that anybody that has donated or gives, even whether it's just a few bucks here or there, just buying raffle tickets or whatever, all that stuff these guys get, they fully appreciate.
Yeah. And a couple more things. We're also part of the benefits of being in the club is we're going to have member exclusive events that also where the team is involved. So it's sort of like a exclusive hangout with the team, but also like a celebration and a thank you for being part of the club, and do it, whether you're contributing financially and or, with donating your time or your energy, your efforts. So that's a cool thing that the first one's being planned right now. So we also have the opportunity for business sponsorships. Right now we have two. The first one is ACET Technologies, and they're also a team sponsor. So you can sponsor the team and the Claw Collective. Our business sponsorship amounts are going to be much smaller than what the team is going to be asking for. So if there's any businesses out there who want to be able to get your name out and support the team, but smaller businesses, come check us out. There's a Google form for that as well. And we have different tiers of the business sponsorships, and all that information's on the Google form. And you can always contact any of the board members. We also have Jolie Jabali as our treasurer. Daryl Waugh is the vice president, and Heather Spalding is she has like an administrative I forget what we called her.
Yeah. She kind of holds everything together.
She does. Yeah, she's the chaos coordinator is her unofficial title.
Yeah.
But so all of our contact information is kind of out there. You can message us on Facebook or send us an email if you find our emails. And any of us or anybody in the club really would be happy to answer anybody's questions.
Find us at a game. We're all around everywhere at a game. Find us at a game. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Anything, any kind of information you want. We can if we don't have it, we can point you in the right direction.
Yep.
Okay. And again, we'll have all the contact information that you guys supply me with, I'll put it down in the description too. So that'll be helpful. Before we shift over, I do want to give you your flowers, as they say, because I didn't win. I don't even know how much traction my team name idea had, but for the record, what it was the Hogs, the PD Hogs, and I had AI draw me up a little logo, and it was like gold and had this ferocious looking boar with like gold and red would have been the colors, and it was pretty sweet. But I got to give you your credit that after that announcement, after the slight disappointment, when I saw the logo, and then what I'm saying is excellent. That's what I'm trying to say. I probably could not have been better, a better fit. And I like how it pulls on that heritage. But yet another thing that I thought was important too was embracing the new, though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Letting the old
Yeah,
rest.
that's right.
But this did both. And man, when I saw the jerseys, every jersey has been sweet, especially the black one's my favorite. I plan on getting one made as soon as I figure out the best way for me to go about doing that. Put something on the back of it, but also the blue jerseys with PD, they look like old school I call them throwbacks, but we're a brand new team.
Yeah.
But I love those too. So I mean,
those are one of my favorites.
I don't know how much you were involved with all of some of those aspects, but the way that all of the IceCats, moniker came together with the logo, the colors, the uniforms, I mean, it's great. So good job. I
Appreciate
give
it.
you your credit.
Like I said, and at the beginning, I probably put in 20 different little suggestions or whatever, and it went and made little logos for all of them, kind of like you did or whatever.
Yeah.
And like you said, that was kind of a way to tie the old and the new together or whatever. Is kind of where that kind of came up. And I did kind of get to see some of the logos and kind of give some feedback on what I thought was going on and things like that. But I do think they turned out about as good as you could have asked for.
Absolutely.
It kind of made me nervous whenever, they originally made the full lion logo, because my mind immediately went to Detroit Lions. Just seeing, the lion in that position, and then, growing up with football and things like that. But I think everything turned out, about as well as you could ask for.
Absolutely. All right. Well, then it is that time. This is our last segment of the show, the Florence Foodies' favorite Florence food item. And so, Rose, we're going to start with you being a transplant. I always like that perspective. So I'm going to ask you, when you go out to eat, what are one or two of your favorite items to order in Florence County?
Okay, so I don't speak Spanish, but I think you say it's salsa y limon.
Salsa y limon.
Yeah. That's like my favorite go-to place. I've had like my taco salad. I know that's kind of boring, and chicken quesadilla. Those are my go-to. I'm like a chicken finger, chicken tender girl, chicken nugget, whatever. But anyway, so those are my two favorite things to get at Salsa. Pretty much anything else, like I really like pizza, so I like Rebel Pie pizza and Mellow. Yeah.
Right. You're right in my neck of the woods. My people know salsa y limon is top of my list.
Oh,
particularly
really?
their carnitas, yeah, but really all of their stuff. They Israel and Charlie do a really good job.
Yes.
And their staff. And then Rebel Pie as well. Obviously Alan's a friend of the show, so good answers.
And I was glad to see them move from their original location kind of out in the middle of nowhere to where they are now. I think that's helped them a lot too.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
My go-tos are, I guess, a lot of it depends on mood. I would say I kind of want to lean towards some of our sponsors or whatever, just because whatever. But
It's fair.
But I like I said, a lot of times on game day or whatever, I'm going to grab relatively quick food. I'll always swing by 1720. Like I said, I know John real well, and he's helped us out a lot. So, if you're ever looking for somewhere to grab a bite before the game, that is an easy access place. Them and margaritas as well, kind of being right there together.
They got those jalapenos too. Those fried jalapenos are fire.
But that, and then like I said, I live right behind Rebel Pie, so that's kind of an easy spot for me to go to as well. And I try to stick to your, not necessarily mom and pops, but your local owned businesses. Just because I think it's good to support them. there was something else I was going to go to, and I can't. It completely slipped my mind.
I'll give a quick shout out to Dairy Queen.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, Sonic. Um,
I say that because obviously Chick-fil-A's a relationship with the team, but I mean the stuff they're doing, like the cows.
yeah, I
raining.
thought that was really cool.
So we're funny story while you're thinking about that last plug. They're raining down all the cows, and my two sons go down to the landing and they're trying to catch one. There's some other kids right there, and they didn't get one. And then Shy, my oldest, he's 15. He'll be 15 in 2 weeks. He didn't catch one directly, but when he's got the broccoli thing going, it's very popular. So he's got that there, and it made a great nest. And one of them joints landed right on his head. He didn't see it. I wish I'd had my camera out. The lady in front of me did. I should have got her to send it to me. I don't know if she caught it or not though, but we were laughing because he was looking over at his brother and trying to see if they would catch one. And I mean, it landed right on his head. So he got one. And then, the power play gifts that they give also. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a big thing. I saw somebody talking about we only get one a game. I'm like, bro,
yeah, you
know
think
how many
about
chicken
it.
sandwiches they're giving away, man? That's food costs, my man.
Yeah.
Like that is very generous of them. So we're thankful for them sandwiches. So thank you.
Think
Chick-fil-A.
about it. You figure just like the other night when we had 7,800 people or whatever.
Yeah, like you
figure,
kidding?
Yeah, you figure if just half of
I mean, they
people
got to stay
claim
in business. You know what I'm saying? They got to make money.
I figured out the other spot I was thinking about was Southern Hops.
Okay.
They have a lot of, I guess, kind of unique stuff that you don't really find a lot of places. For whatever reason, I love a good Cuban sandwich. That's one of my go-tos or whatever, and they have an amazing one. And the other night I went and watched the game up in Binghamton, and they have a smokehouse pizza that is amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to say something on that too real quick because I know that some people will watch this. So we started off doing some of this with it, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then we'll wrap up. We started off doing, I started off particularly in this aspect doing a burger ranking. It was just an idea. It was like, I'm going to go, and there's a way to make some content, and then people seemed to like it. So I kept doing it because people were like, hey, I like those burger videos. It's like, all right, well, I'll go. And then people were going to the places because they were like, and that was what I really wanted to do was incentivize people to get out and go patronize these local businesses. So the list kept growing, and the Southern Hops Burger was lower on the list. Now, I'm just saying this because this did come up in a couple different conversations that I've had. So I'm making this public statement. Hey, if you go back and watch that video, I did not say I did not like the burger. There's not actually one burger that I had on that list that I didn't like. If I didn't, at least at that time before this changed, I probably would have told you, or I would have just never put the video out. You'd have never seen the footage because stuff like that has happened. So I never said that. It just so happened the list kept getting so long, somebody's got to be lower on it.
Drop, right?
For the record, Southern Hops is a unique restaurant, and they've got some really good stuff. Their pieces, we've bought them and brought them home to eat them ourselves and with the kids. That's something that we like. So they have good food, they have unique food, and it's definitely a place that's popular for a reason. I just want to make sure I said that.
And they have that cheesy garlic thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's so good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love cheese, so.
Okay, me too. So good answers. I appreciate y'all taking the time to do this and appreciate y'all's effort and what you're doing because I view the hockey team, obviously selfishly, first and foremost, it's a great form of entertainment. I'm excited to be brought back into hockey to have a reason, and it's got me watching NHL hockey again too. So I'm enjoying that from a selfish place. I can entertain myself, but from a bigger like community centric place, which is obviously something important to me, I understand and am aware of everything that comes along with this. This is a big deal. I don't know that people often realize how big of a deal this hockey team is to our community and our surrounding area. And there are specific people, there are names and faces that are behind all of it at different positions and different, functions that are really dedicating a lot of their time, energy, resources, emotions, efforts, and money to this thing. And it shows in the product and it matters. So even if you don't care about hockey, you never plan to go to a game, you just, this is not your thing, whatever. this affects your quality of life in Florence County and in the greater PD. And so I hope that we've at least done a little bit to help make you aware of that so that you would appreciate it. I do, and I definitely appreciate what y'all are doing. Again, there'll be any links that are relevant to anything we've talked about today, I will put down in the description and in the show notes. So again, I appreciate y'all taking the time to do this.
Let's go IceCats. Woo!
Appreciate it. And my closing remarks would be, if you think you won't like it, all I ask is come to one game. I've had a ton of people.
Exactly.
I've had a ton of people have that same opinion, and I've known a few of them that have came and since bought season tickets. So like I said, just at most you can get tickets for $20-$30 at most. You spend that much to go to a movie just about nowadays. Just come check it out. If you don't like it, I appreciate you at least trying.
Yeah, it's good family fun too. So I mean, it's a really good thing to do on the weekend.
And there will be in the future, there will be youth leagues and things like that added on that will help, give the youth something to do in the area too, which will attract more businesses and stuff as well. So,
Yep.
All
right. Well, again, I appreciate y'all. And as always, I appreciate y'all. And God willing, we'll see you on the next one.